In the stillness of night, when the world sleeps, a darkness stirs. A darkness that has been growing for centuries. A calculated plot was set in motion, a plot that would not only conquer lands, but minds, bodies, and souls. This is an untold story of how a powerful and humane force was nearly extinguished. A story of betrayal, lies, and a legacy nearly stolen. A story of the erasure of Ayurveda. If you are new to this channel, then I am Korak, and my mission is to contribute towards the golden age of humanity, health, Bharat, Dharma, and for inner excellence. And I am doing this work since 1996, post renouncing my military officer's job and the cliched life that I lived till the age of 25. You may visit our official website www.korakday.com for more details. Part 1. The Inception of the Conspiracy. The year was 1820. The British Empire was expanding, and with it came the need to control not just the land but the very essence of its people. Medicine, they decided, was the key. James Annesley, a British officer in Madras, argued that Indians' health could only be managed by aligning it with the Western principles. They called it putting medicine on the rational footing. But beneath this veneer of progress lay a sinister agenda. We have a moral obligation to bring the benefits of Western civilization to those people. But to do so, the state must take greater actions. The government must become everything, said a British officer. With those words, the fate of Ayurveda was sealed. The state would become the sole arbitrator of health, and the rich traditions of Bharat would be cast aside as relic of the bygone era. Part 2. The Tools of Suppression. But the British didn't act alone. They were aided by a powerful force, the missionaries, which saw the medicine a way to win hearts and minds. The London Missionary Society of South India began to weave Western medicine into its evangelizing mission. To them, medicine was not just about healing bodies. It was about harvesting souls, about controlling the souls. A missionary would say thus, medicine will open a wide and effectual door into the hearts and minds of the natives. Their agenda was clear: replace the age-old wisdom of Ayurveda with the cold, blood-draining clinical practices of allopathy, all in the name of spiritual conquest. The indigenous healers and surgeons, the Veds and Kaviraj, were silent and put into low castes. Their knowledge was dismissed as superstitious. The stage was set for the final blow. Part 3. The Demonization of Indigenous Practices. The next target in this calculated war was the Indian midwives known as dais, or lovingly as daimas, who had been the cornerstone of childbirth for centuries. These women were more than just healers. They were the custodians of life. But to the British, they were just obstacles. A British officer would say, these wizened hacks with their barbaric practices must be reformed or replaced. Well, the witch hunting of Europe of the Middle Ages formulae was performed by the British, making Bharat to bleed. In the eyes of the colonizers, the dais became a symbol of Indian backwardness. It was rather, they wanted to show the Indians that it was backward, and their practices was labeled as primitive and dangerous. And this was that civilization which was mother of all civilizations, and thus the mother needed to be slaughtered for the matrix of money. What was once revered became reviled, and with that the British moved to establish their dominance, bringing the Western trained midwives to replace the dais, driving infant mortalities and maternal sufferings to horrifying levels. But this was only the beginning, because they had more sinister plans in their head. While they use these midwives and their other surgical techniques to reduce the population of the Hindus. in Bharat. Part 4, the displacement of Ayurveda by Allopathy. The final blow came with the institutionalization of Allopathy. And where did it start? In all the places where the British started all its evil ventures, in Kolkata, in Calcutta. In 1835, the British established the Calcutta Medical College, designed to train Indian students in the ways of the West. This was just like the Indian education system that was started to create babus and clerks who would be the slaves of the British Empire. Aye, aye, sir. The indigenous system of medicine were cast aside, their practitioners stripped of their prestige and status and even caste. A British official would say, "Oh, we must educate the Asiatics with the science of the West." That was stolen from Bharat. Charles Trevelyan, a staunch westernizer, made it clear there was no place for Ayurveda in the New World Order, and so native medical institution, which had once been a beacon of traditional knowledge, was dismantled. Its teaching dismissed as unscientific. The message was clear. Ayurveda was inferior and allopathy was the future. This was institutionalized and forced upon the natives of Bharat, sadly by those people of Bharat who, because of their Western education, treated their kin like a peacock who shed off its feathers and has put the feathers of crow and thinks itself to be a crow. This was done by endless destruction of all the indigenous gems of Bharat, and sadly enough continuing much worse to the present day. This must STOP in bold. Part 5, the resistance begins. But the spirit of Bharat was not to be easily crushed. As the flames of nationalism began to spread across India, so too did the desire to revive what has been lost. Ayurvedic practitioners, scholars, and patriots began to organize, determined to fight back against the forces that sought to erase their heritage. A nationalist leader would say, "We must restore Ayurveda to its rightful place, not as a relic of the past, but as a beacon of the future." In the shadows, they worked tirelessly, publishing books, founding colleges, and holding conferences, making YouTube videos. They knew that for Ayurveda to survive, it needed to evolve. They sought to prove its scientific credentials, to show that it was not just a system of healing, but a philosophy of life, but the way of living and a life full of excellence, inner and external excellence. This was the battle not just for health, but for the soul of the nation. Part 6, the modern struggle. But even today, the struggle continues in spite of all the struggle that was done by people in the past and in the present days. So Ayurveda is still treated as second class. Its practitioners marginalized, its teaching dismissed. The colonial legacy lingers in our medical schools, our hospitals, and even in our minds. A modern day Ayurvedic practitioner would say, "We are treated as inferiors, our knowledge disregarded, our practices dismissed and outdated." The irony is painful because as the whole world is moving towards natural and holistic healing, we in Bharat mostly are turning away from our own excellence of Ayurveda. The question is why? Why do we continue to let the ghost of colonialism dictate our choice? Why do we ignore the wisdom of our ancestors? Why do we even ignore our ancestors? Our ancestors didn't come from foreign lands. Part 7, the dark truth of modern medicine. The truth is darker than we want to believe. Modern medicine, for all its achievement, has become a business that strives on sickness, not health. And a pandemic is a great chance to make a lot of money. Remember Corona, where many such companies wanted to monopolize their vaccines even in Bharat and the entire world, but they failed. A pharmaceutical industry born in the West has turned healing into profit, creating a cycle of dependency and disease. In a pharmaceutical executive's voice, "Our goal is to manage disease, not to cure it." This is the world we live in, a world where Ayurveda, with its focus on prevention and holistic well-being, is seen as a threat to this multi-billion-dollar industry. And so it's pushed to its margin, its practitioners discredited, its practice ridiculed. But the tide is turning. Part 8, the call to action. To the youth of today, the future is in our hands. We are the generation that can break free from the chains of the past. We are the generation that can restore Ayurveda to its rightful place, not as a relic, but as a revolution in healing, in living, in being. This is our call to arms, our time to rise, to reclaim what is ours, to heal this world, not with pills and procedures, but with knowledge of our roots. Embrace Ayurveda, fight for it, live it, and in turn, revive Bharat and its eternal dharma, its greatness for the whole and entire humanity. Part 9, the path forward. This is not just about the past, it's about the future of health, the future of Bharat, the future of us. The dharma way of healing holistically, organically, practiced in Bharat before the British was rooted in balance, in harmony, in the recognition that true power lies not in domination but in nurturing life. That is the essence of Ayurveda, and that is what we must reclaim. The dawn of the new era is upon us. Will you be part of it? The choice is yours, because the future is Ayurveda. If you liked this video, then go ahead and tell us what you liked. Subscribe the channel and press the bell icon to all so that you get a priority delivery for all our future videos. Pranam.